What's going on, guys? Welcome to Revolver Live, the gaming podcast that says forget the past. The future belongs to the nerds. I'm the Beastly Gamer, today joined by two remaining Revolver co-hosts. Don't ask why. Let's just do this. Briar Rabbit, what's going on this week, man? How you feel?
I'm doing good, man. Working on taxes still. Deadline's coming up. I'm having cold sweats at night and a lot of irritable bowel syndrome. But other than that, not so hot, really.
That's the good part. That's the good
Tax
part.
season will do that to you. Yeah, taxes are the good part.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
So
The highlight of my week is fretting about taxes.
Same.
I count my blessings. Kate's dad, he owns an income tax office up in Ohio.
I'll be right
And-
over.
Yeah, well, tell you now, I'm not kidding. I swear to you. I send my taxes to him, and usually within 10 days, it's in my bank.
Awesome. That's dope.
And I don't have to think about anything. I just send him my shit, my W-2. He fills everything out, gets every single scintilla of addition that I can get because, I'm the father of all his grandkids. Well, not all.
I bring my taxes to my accountant, and he starts asking me questions. I'm like,
Yeah.
you got shit mixed up, friendo.
Yeah.
I went to my tax guy this
I
week.
want to work like this.
I went to my tax guy this week and was like telling him what I do. I'm like, oh, I'm a glass blower. Oh, awesome. What do you make? And water pipes, smoking pipes. And, oh, that's really cool. I have a lot of people in my family that like to, they're of free minds, and I'm like, say no more. I was like, I got you. So he wants me to make him some pipes in exchange for doing my taxes, which
That's a win-win, man. That's a win-win. He'll feel a lot better. He might be able to, jump through a few hoops and get you a couple extra zeros if you get him some really good pipes
Right.
and let him use them
You
before
should
he
make
does
one
the tax.
shaped like W2.
Yeah, he might give me some extra zeros. He might be blowing those rings as well, afterwards. Briar was telling me, he's like, you might want to double check his math when you're done with it.
Funny thing is, though, for me, is as soon as and I guess it's because, where I grew up and my history, my family, income tax time is time for you to get your money and make some big changes and get it as quickly as you can. Why the hell are you waiting until the deadline, Brian?
Because Beastly, it's my money now, and soon it will be the government's money. I would like it to remain my money as long as possible, earning interest in my bank account, not theirs.
It's on principle. In case things ever change at the last minute, and they're like, oh, you don't have to do them anymore. I could be like, great. I haven't done them yet, so that ain't gonna happen.
Makes perfect sense.
I knew you were gonna do that, so I went ahead and just didn't do it.
Yeah, I used to be like you too, Beastly. Is like I just because I had a standard job with withholding. I would just as soon as the is it the W2 or the W4
W2.
came in, W2 came in, I'd basically fill out a form, send it in, and the deposit would end up in my bank account or whatever. But now being self-employed and having like multiple sources of income, some of which are very not on the standard like IRS forms. It's not only extremely confusing, but there's no withholding, right? So
Yeah.
I gotta pay. Like I gotta pay. So every year I gotta pay, and I'd rather keep that money, like I said,
On
in
you
my
until
pocket.
you actually
You gotta find all them write-offs, man. All the games you've bought, all the PC part upgrades, everything.
Oh yeah, I do write off quite a bit of that stuff. I do not write off video games, but I do write off like PCs, like that kind of stuff because they are business related.
The hardware versus the software.
Yeah, and I feel like it just is going to throw up a red flag when I put Destiny 2 on my deduction list.
What the fuck?
Because then they're going to know how much you've spent in Eververse, and that just gets messy.
Right?
All right.
Look, I needed that Omega grasp for my YouTube channel.
Ooh, speaking of Eververse, I have a cool story. So check it out, right? I have been on the hunt for that fucking selfie emote. All right, I want
got
it so bad. Of course you do. Everybody's got it, but me, Beastly.
Yeah, I got it too,
all right, and so I'm thinking to myself, I have one engram. I'm like, what are the odds, man, that I go and I get the emote that I'm looking for? So I'm like, wait a minute, hold the line. Let's see what I'm missing. So I hop online and I look at the available emotes.
Yeah.
I go to my kiosk and I see what I've already got unlocked, and I realize that I'm missing 2, the selfie emo, and I think it was the disco dance.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to Eververse, and it just so happens she's selling the disco dance, and it just so happens that I had enough bright dust.
This is
so
smart.
So I bought it, checked that off the list, turned in my engram, and boom shakalaka, I got the fucking selfie emo.
You should have taken a selfie of yourself getting the selfie emo.
Ah, yeah.
I should have been like, yo,
Zone.
hashtag I just Rain Manned the system. All right. I was like Dustin Hoffman up in that bitch counting luminous engrams. Like definitely 32. Definitely 32.
Looking at you next, Las Vegas. Here I come.
Revolver does Vegas.
Oh, God.
How long before we get thrown out of that bitch?
Pretty quick, I would imagine.
Hell yeah. They're going to take you in the back and rough you up first, though, Willie. They're going to take you in the back and rough you up first. It seems like you had a good time in Destiny, but how you been doing this week, man? What else have you been getting into, Wilson?
Me, I have been working at the studio. You know, no shocker there. Been playing a lot of Fortnite still, man. I love that game. I love the learning curve of that game. I love the just build fast aggression play style of it. Me and Briar were playing a little bit earlier today, and we were having a good time.
I had to uninstall it and reinstall it. So
we were leapfrogging.
I haven't had a chance to try it, but yeah, I had to reinstall.
It should be good, but we got to get you in there, man. It was good times. But I'm getting all my stuff sorted out for my trip to Guardian Con soon. So that's gonna be awesome.
Know anybody who's going?
Briar's going, aren't you?
I'm going. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You should come too,
76
Beastly.
is going. Bunch of guys from Resolute. Yeah, you should go, man.
I wouldn't know anybody there.
You know us.
What am I, chopped liver over here?
Hey.
It has to continue, Briar. It has to continue. Chop fucking liver. For the guys wondering where Mr. Gary is this week, Gary's feeling under the weather. So join us in this millisecond of silence and hope that Gary's going to be doing better. You guys, thank you all for joining us for that millisecond of silence. For the people who are joining us today for the first time, Revolver Live is a gaming podcast, conversational podcast with 6 revolving topics. You can be a part of the show by submitting your topics for consideration at revolvergamescast@gmail.com. We go live every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/BriarRabbit. The video is then shared on YouTube at Briar's channel and my channel, Beastly Gamer. If you're unable to see the live feed or the video format, check us out in podcast form on Podbean, iTunes, or your favorite podcast service provider. And with that, welcome to Revolver Live episode 36. We getting up there, fellas.
Yo, I didn't put this in the topic list, but I kind of want to talk about Fortnite versus PUBG a little bit.
Hey, I'd love to have this conversation. Actually, we played some PUBG today. For the people who don't know, we went in there as a Revolver crew and got Revolver fucked. We got screwed. That last firefight was exciting.
Bad at PUBG now,
but it was over so quick.
Here's my problem. All right, I love PUBG. I love the realism of it. I love the size of the map. It feels much bigger. You know, there's vehicles, stuff like that. However, I am getting older, and my eyes are not working as good as they used to, and it's much easier to spot people.
Will start failing too, Wilson.
I know. Hopefully, I'd rather lose all of my eyesight first before that happens. But anyway, that go completely blind. But the thing about that I can't play both at the same time is the jumping out of the plane mechanic. I got it down in Fortnite. I can hit a fucking bullseye in Fortnite now. We jumped into PUBG, and where did we go to? The prison on the main map.
Yeah, we're all pretty far apart from one another.
All these guys were down in the prison, down in the valley, and I am in the trees way up on top of the mountain. Like, it literally felt like I had to traverse like Bear Grylls down this mountain to these guys.
I was running up a hill, and I see him just like coming down this cliff. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming.
I'm all bleeding and bloody and shit by the time I get everyone like, where are they at? And I'm like, no, this is fall damage. Like, get inside. Get inside. But yeah, I enjoy the fast-paced action of Fortnite. The thing that turned me off the most at the beginning of Fortnite building has now become one of my favorite things to do, to rush people, build above them, and try to get that high ground on them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's more like Don't get me wrong, you could definitely have some pretty badass hero moments in PUBG. We've all seen it. We've all been a part of it.
Yeah.
But in Fortnite, man, there's just so much. And, you know, I totally get it. If, you know, you like the boots on the ground PUBG experience, or you want the wild, tacky jump pads and stuff like that from Fortnite, which are a lot of fun. Like, teams never expect that. You're all building your forts, getting ready to, you know, shoot it out. You just drop a jump pad and jump over them and swoop in behind them. It's so much fun. But I really would like to see, it's just PUBG is much more slower, more methodical.
Has it become stale? Yeah. Like, does it feel more stale now that there's a faster, more fresh style of play for the Battle Royale? I'll just say this. I hate it when my son's ranked because, you know, this is the guy who told me, Dad, camouflage shoes go with any outfit. When you say that to me, I'm like, everything you say for the rest of your life is completely bullshit. But he did tell me, he said, Dad, PUBG's fun. I understand what you're saying, but Fortnite is just a better game. It's so much more fun. There's so much more you can do.
Can we hit the rewind just for a minute there?
Yes,
camouflage
Briar.
shoes. Is he talking like green camouflage? Like,
he had on blue. Actually, they were camouflage with myriad colors, Briar. And
myriad?
Yes. But it was camouflage design. And I actually panned down with my camera and I said, we're here taking family pictures, son. What the fuck are you thinking? And he said, Dad, these shoes, they go with any outfit. They're interchangeable with anything.
Is it because they have every color in them, so they match everything?
Yeah, but they also
or
have
is it because they disappear? It's like you don't even have feet.
I would rather them disappear.
CGI.
I'd rather they disappeared.
Note that he has not worn these shoes since picture day. I have not seen them. I don't know if he took them over his mom's house and burned them in a barrel. I have not seen them. But yeah, he was telling me that Fortnite, that's all they play. They play on their PlayStation and they play on their phone. And believe it or not, these are crossplay.
Yeah.
Right.
You can play on your phone.
PC, PS4, Xbox One. You can't. I don't think you can play Xbox.
I don't think
Xbox
One.
PS4.
Yeah, you can,
but you can play Xbox One with PC, and you can play PS4 with PC, and kind of link up that way. You know, it's funny is we played a little bit today. We played, I don't know, was it about an hour, Wilson?
Of Fortnite, we played more PUBG than we did Fortnite, but
So the story is that we started playing a little bit of PUBG while we're waiting for Gary and Beasley. We often play on Sundays before the show, like something, you know, just kind of something. And you know, Beasley, you got on, and PUBG was not starting, so Fortnite wasn't starting, so we went directly from Fortnite to PUBG. And what I've always known about PUBG, but was really kind of brought like right to the forefront for me today was the indiness of PUBG. This is not a AAA game, right? PUBG
Absolutely.
is not a AAA game. It controls weird. It feels weird. There's one point where there was literally a guy that Wilson had all but destroyed, standing still in a bathroom, and I shot him point blank with a shotgun, and he just took no damage. Like, that kind of stuff is fairly common in PUBG. So it turns out, I think what I actually want is I like Fortnite and I like PUBG. I prefer PUBG because aesthetically it just makes more sense. Like Wilson said, I prefer like that boots on the ground thing, like that realism thing, like really kind of it gets me going. But what I actually want is kind of a hybrid between the two. Is I want like the AAA-ness of Fortnite, right? Like, you know, these are, you know, very talented developers running at a very high skill level. And that game runs beautifully. It looks beautiful. You know, like it's
buttery
just
smooth. Yeah,
it's just a polished product, much more so than PUBG. What I want is a combination of those two things, right? Is like, you know, I believe that at E3 we're going to see about 6 new
Battle Royale.
Yeah. There's even one, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, that's going to have like 400 players per map. Can you imagine that?
I heard that Battlefield is going in that direction.
Battlefield, I've heard, is going in that direction. I think that's still in rumor stages, but I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
It would be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but like, what I'd love to see is just somebody really grab that realistic setting that PUBG uses, but also be a polished game.
Right. Make it play as good as Fortnite.
Do you think that? Do you think a game like Call of Duty would work in this this way, battle royale style. I mean, you got a single life, you can run around, you can replenish your health. With Call of Duty, I mean, I think it would work well, especially if it's boots on the ground versus this jumping, strafing through the air style of Call of Duty. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Call of Duty. I mean, the engine doesn't seem to lend itself as well. Like, I think they'd have to develop a new engine for it. Whereas Battlefield, I feel like they could just
right now, yeah,
just make it happen. You know,
yeah, because the Battlefield's maps are already like the size of PUBG.
Right? Can you imagine?
They've already got what, like 50v50, all the crazy ass amounts of teams. So I mean, they can already support it. Boom, it's already 100 people. Just make them all on their own individual team or squads, and it can be pretty dope.
That sounds good. Imagine the Frostbite engine, like that level of graphical fidelity. Like that frames. Level of polish. 30 frames. Get the.
What happened to you?
You've ascended.
Yes. I'm talking about console.
You're part of the Church of Unlimited Frames now, Beastly.
I don't want to ever see under 60 ever again. I'm sorry, I just said that.
But yeah, I'd love to see that. It was weird today playing those two games back to back and like the differences between the two.
Yeah, my eyes just can't handle PUBG though. That's kind of what I like about the desert map more. Is that stuff's a little bit more wide open, a little bit more bland. You know what I mean? Like, and in Fortnite, I could just see people from so far away. But like. A lot of people get discouraged. Like, dude, I did not like Fortnite the first couple times I played it. Wasn't a fan of it. I hated the building aspect. Graphics never really been a thing for me. It's more about gameplay and having fun. If you're having fun with friends, like, it doesn't really matter.
What changed you?
You know what I mean? Like, but like it. To me, I kind of feel like it has a higher skill ceiling, so to speak, just because there's more things than gunplay to focus on, mostly building, and that is a huge turnoff at first if it's not for you. I would highly recommend, if you're on console, that it might be a good time for you to invest in a Scuff or a Battle Beaver or a Cinch controller, whatever, the Dominator pack, whatever you want to use to really help with building skill. And another thing that I like about Fortnite that I'm digging more than PUBG right now is if I got friends on console, if I got friends on PC, either way, we're connected. Now my console friends can see when I'm on PC and join me now. And isn't like Xbox doing crossplay with PC now and shit? And like it's becoming that's going to be really cool, man, because I have some friends that I would absolutely love to play that game with on Xbox that I know that's the only platform that they have available. So
coming from a Destiny community too, that hits home.
Yeah.
It
does.
Having basically moved to the PC after being my whole friends list was on PS4. Like, that's the thing I miss the most is the friends that I used to play with on PS4 that I can't play with anymore. That's why I went out and bought a Zim. That's why I, started doing raid nights on PS4 just so I could play with those guys again.
Yeah, man, and like it's a really fun game for me right now to kind of buy some time until next month when we get some more like meaty content. Like, it's kind of buying time until then. And like one thing I will say that's cool about PUBG that kind of had me a little interested today was when I logged in and I got a weapon skin.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, I like that kind of stuff, man. I really do. And that's one thing that I like about Fortnite is they have that battle pass for, I forget how many weeks it is. It's for like 2 months or, every week you get a set of challenges that rank you up in a book that has a set of predetermined.
That's such a turnoff for me though, that I have to pay for that.
See, but here's the thing though. It's $9.50. So ultimately it's comes out to roughly like, what is that? That's every 2 months. So you're paying like close to like what, $60 a year for a game that's getting an update every week that you're getting. So here's the deal. If you were to spend $9.50 on a skin in game, you're not going to get shit. If you get the battle pass, you get tons of stickers, increased experience, you get emotes. I've gotten multiple skins through that, multiple pickaxes, multiple like cosmetics, like all the things that you want. Emotes, the take the L where you grab your crotch and dance on the guy. Like it's I hate to say it, but it's fun to be toxic in that game. And those emotes that you get out of those that you get out of those battle passes are a lot of fun. And it's really genius how they do it too, because that's the way they break it down. Like, sure, you could drop $10 and get a really cool teddy bear, or they kind of have a dude that looks like Zur for one of the skins. Like his face is all covered. You can just see like his glowing eyes, and
Cool.
you could just flat out buy that, and I don't think that's where the value is. And if you already own the PvE game, dude, I've gotten just from logging in daily, and like every 5 days or 7 days or something, I get anywhere from 150 to 300 V-Bucks, and that's been. And in the battle pass login, also there's when you reach a certain level, they give you V-Bucks, like 100 V-Bucks. So like from between that, my problem. Hold on, real quick, basically between that and logging into the PvE game, I've made 1,700 V-Bucks for free. You know what I mean? So that's almost enough to buy 2 more seasons of battle passes. Like, so you can earn it in game. Like, it's pretty good.
All that stuff sounds great, right? But for me, my issue is the commitment. It's like right now, I have Xbox Game Pass. I have Sea of Thieves on there. I want to play. I've literally played like 3 or 4 hours of that game since I've had it. Of course, Fortnite exists. I got PUBG. I got all these other games. And for me to just go into Fortnite and play it versus getting that, getting this $9.50 little package that increases your XP and gives you stickers and all these emotes, for me, it's like it would take a commitment, and all the other stuff I'd have to kind of pull away from just to even notice that. Because I mean, to be totally honest, we're like on a carousel of gaming. That's what we do. We're like on a fucking carousel. We all get together and play the same game. We roll around the carousel, and we jump off and go play another game. We don't have that unless it's like Destiny, which is for the most part the game that's played the most by the host of this podcast. It's really hard to commit to a game like that unless. Go ahead.
I tend to get obsessed with like a game for like a certain period of time. Like
same.
Over the summer, last summer, it was PUBG. I put 350 hours into PUBG over the summer. Like I was just into that game, man. And then Destiny 2 came out, and I've been relatively obsessed with Destiny. Monster Hunter came out. I played a lot of Monster Hunter like in a short period of time. Witcher was like that. Just like I just like that's my personality. I've got a very obsessive personality. When I get into something, I just like kind of focus on it like very intensely and block out everything else.
In the same way.
And that's why I like games that have like stuff that you can earn, like stuff that rewards you for playing. Like today in PUBG, like Wilson was saying, you can earn skins, but you can also pick up other players' weapons that have those skins.
You are all about that. You are always picking up other people's clothes. You do this in every game we play. You take other people's shit, and I love it. I love it. You take a memento.
I do. That's always been my thing. I used to do it in Call of Duty too. I used to love picking up, like killing somebody, picking up their gun,
and killing them with it.
And killing them with it. That was my thing. But in PUBG, I used to like all right, I'm going to take his boots. I'm going to take his pants. Like now I can take his fucking gun. And it's all blinged out, it's like it got orange camo on it. So it's like, it's clearly like a different thing. It's cool.
Well, I think that little intro is really important because we were starting to wonder if we're still a video game podcast. So we just proved it. We talked about video games, but on to our first topic of the show.
Real quick, let's do an ad for On Air PC.
Absolutely.
On Air
awesome.
PC, actually, I requested that they send me last week we talked a little bit about like a low-end gaming rig that would be capable of playing games like Fortnite, playing games like Destiny. And this thing is, well, it's $650. $650 gets you this computer from On Air PC shipped, right? So to your door, this thing shows up. It's got an AMD 2200G processor. This is one of those processors that we were talking about last week that has it's an APU. It's got the processor and the graphics card built into one chip. It's got, a Asus motherboard, 8 gigs of RAM, a 250 gig Samsung SSD. If you don't have a computer with an SSD in it, you will be shocked at the difference that putting an SSD in your computer makes. It's just so much more responsive, and just opening games, loading levels is just so fast. It's got a Cooler Master case, a 450-watt power supply, and comes with Windows pre-installed, Windows 10 Pro. All that for $650. And the beauty of this system is that this game is going to play, this this system is going to play current games, right? You want to play Fortnite, you want to play Destiny, this computer is going to be able to do it. But it's also very upgradable. So, in 6 months or a year, when you decide, I really like PC gaming, this PC is going to be able to grow with you. You'll be able to just slot in a graphics card. Hopefully graphics cards come down in price, because right now they're crazy expensive.
It's coming. The bubble will burst eventually.
If you decide, all right, I kind of thinking I want to start like a YouTube career. I'd like to start doing YouTube videos. You can just pop in a Ryzen 2 processor that are coming out like any day now and upgrade this thing to like an 8-core 16-thread processor and start rendering out videos. You can start streaming. Like the possibilities. The beautiful thing about this PC is for $650, you get in the door into PC gaming, and you have a platform that is almost endlessly upgradable. I mean, AMD has kind of said that they're going to stick with this platform for at least 3 more years. You'll be able to add a graphics card to it, and it'll get you in the door for $650. And this is a custom-built PC shipped to your door, by Ryan at On Air PC. And if you have any problems with it, you can just call him up. And
that's an unbelievable deal.
Fix them. Yeah,
he called me the other day and was like, "Hey, you had talked to me about PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 4 that the HDMI port on the back, the contact pins got bent. We had moved. Someone, not going to mention who, forgot to unwrap the HDMI cable when we had moved it, so it had gotten kind of fucked up during the move, and he's going to help me replace that so that we'll have an extra, because mine sounds like a fucking jet Harrier now.
That's another thing that we haven't mentioned about On Air PC. I was also talking to Ryan earlier in the week, or late last week, and he told me that he's also does repair on consoles. Mm-hmm. And I got 2 modded PS3s that, just over the course of their lives decided to crap out on me, and they stay on just for a few seconds, and then they flash red and they go off. And so I want to ship those up there to Ohio and let them fix those as well. It's like a wealth of the guy is worth his weight in gold. And with this kind of savings, $650 for that, I mean, that's really all I need to get Kate, to be totally honest. She wants to jump into PC. She's in here on my desktop all the time now playing games. And, I'd be able to get her something comparable. Probably not
a fingerprint reader on that thing, man.
No, I don't. She has. Look, I got a happy relationship. She has access to it all, Briar.
You gotta clean that desktop up, bro.
I've seen your desktop. There are shameful things that should be hidden.
No, it's not.
The world has seen the desktop.
Do I need to show that desktop again?
Shut up, Briar.
I still got that picture.
It is out there. It is your desktop, as it was that day, will echo in the eternity of the internet for the rest of time. Think about that.
Now.
Think about that.
Beasley shows up to play Fortnite. He's like, I can't find it. I'm like,
yeah.
Internal monologue is, that's because it's somewhere on that desktop with the other 300 icons.
I almost said, hold on, let me bring up the picture and see if I can help you find it too. Like, hold on, it's somewhere between Hentai Revolution and
God damn it, Gary.
Doki Doki Literature Club and
snapping panties.
So thank you to our sponsor, On Air PC. There'll be a link there's a link in chat. There'll be a link in the description of the video. There's a link anywhere that you are listening to this. Just click on that. You can either contact them by Twitter or by phone. Thank you very much, On Air PC.
Thank you, On Air.
All right.
So the
topic me.
Topic you. I want to veer you a topic. All right, so I went to the movie theater this morning at 11:45 to see A Quiet Place, the new movie with John Krasinski and his wife, I forget her name. And it's a really good film. And I didn't really understand or care about the tickets that I bought because so many other theaters were sold out. So I ended up buying Dolby Atmos tickets. And this is the first time I'd ever done this. I'm 40 years old, never even experienced it before. I've experienced IMAX, I've experienced 3D, all that stuff. But my question was, and my topic is, IMAX versus Dolby Atmos versus 3D. Having this kind of experience in Dolby Atmos really changed the way I experience films. I have a really nice sound system in my office and in my living room.
Can you explain a little bit what Dolby Atmos is for people?
Dolby Atmos it's some of the clearest sound. First of all, it's like it's right there in your ear. There are people all around you. It's like the sound is coming from your chairs. It's coming from these gigantic speakers. And whatever happens on the screen is kind of transformed into a vibration in your seat.
So would you say that it's the Atmos? Would you say it's atmospheric?
Atmospheric. Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like those words go together. It's crazy. Kate and I went and watched this movie today, and the movie was called A Quiet Place because you have to be quiet.
Don't spoil the movie.
I'm not.
Okay.
You watch the trailer, you see that. But you have to be quiet because if you make noise, some bad things are going to go down. And so whenever anything bad or loud happened in the film, it was loud, and you felt it. It was underneath you, rumbling from your ass to the back of your shoulder, and it just, depending on where the sound was coming from, you felt it. And for me, that was really transformative. So my question for you guys is, what is your best or your favorite way to watch films if you go to the theater? There's, of course, IMAX, which is the giant screen. There's 3D, which can be very entertaining itself. And, of course, now I know about Dolby Atmos. Have you guys experienced all three? And
yeah, Dolby Atmos is cool because it's 3D sound, right? It's not surround sound; it's 3-dimensional sound. So they actually put speakers up above you, and they use those to position things, in a 3-dimensional space, which is very effective. It's very well done. You can actually buy that technology for your home too.
What?
Yeah, you can do that in your own house, which is very cool as well.
I want it.
I don't like 3D movies. I'll be honest with you. I don't like wearing the glasses, and I don't like the fact that when I tip my head over, everything goes like askew, right? Maybe if I went ahead and bought like prescription 3D glasses that I only used when I went to 3D movies, it'd be stupid.
How much money do you have?
Not that much.
Okay.
Not enough
Did
to
Gary
buy 3D.
talk you into buying those?
Not enough to buy 3D. I'll tell you what. And I'm still considering buying prescription lenses for my VR headset, so I don't have to wear glasses inside there.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a good investment.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't like. I'm fidgety. Like I can't sit still in a movie theater. So I'm like doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm like, doing this, and then I'm like all over the place during the movie. And if you tilt your head at all, the movie, like the 3D effect, you lose the 3D effect.
It dampens, yeah.
And it like all of a sudden you can see like weird shit. So I don't like 3D movies. I don't think it really adds anything to it. I think it shows that they were never successful in the home,
Are you talking about like the red and blue 3D, or are you talking about like the real 3D, which is clear glasses?
No, I'm not talking about 1982 Jaws 3D. I'm talking about the current fucking
movies.
About
the guy from Back to the Future in Biff's gang, all right?
What the fuck, Beasley?
We should bring that shit back. We should get the red and blue ones and bring that back and just wear them out in public. Briar, I'll bring some to GuardianCon. We'll do that.
All right. I bet you can find them somewhere, right?
Oh, online.
I got some, guys.
Online.
I got some down under my TV somewhere. We used to watch 3D movies back in Ohio, and I got the red and blue, and I got the clear, so I should pull them out.
So I got. For me, it really boils.
Let me turn that off and take the blame.
For me, I should check and make sure mine's muted. For me, it really boils down to just 3D or not. And I do not like 3D movies anymore. I think the only movie, there's 2 movies that I've seen that I liked in 3D. One was Avatar.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And the other was Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead. Might have been my first 3D movie ever.
It probably was the blue and red lenses.
And those were the blue and red lenses. And I was like 9, something like that. And I hate Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. All right. The 2.
You said his last name. Shit. You must really hate him.
Not a fan of either of them. All right.
Sounds like my mother.
and what was the Child's Play, the Chucky the doll? Those 3 things, I just. Not so much anymore with Freddy and Jason, but like, dude, like Puppet Master, anything with dolls coming to life, that shit.
Oh, yeah, Puppet Master.
No thanks, man. Especially Chucky. Like,
Chucky was funny though.
I'm gonna get you, Andy, or whatever he'd always say. Like, get a fucking creepy little fuck. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic here and on a tangent. But for me,
we can see into your soul, Wilson. We can see into your soul.
It's kind of the same thing with PUBG. My eyes just can't take that shit. I think some of the last movies I tried to watch in 3D by mistake were one of the new Transformer movies, and I'm just like,
there's a lot of mistakes involved going to that movie.
All right. My mind wasn't totally right. You know what I mean? So I didn't have time to get it totally right. But, and that's another thing too, man. Like when I get my mind right before a movie, I'm already immersed. When I get there. You know what I'm saying? I've got my massive tray of snacks and other goodies that I've smuggled into the theater because, like, fuck paying $6 for like a Crunch Bar or whatever.
No, it's worse. I got a small popcorn because, of course, we smuggled in tons of candy and pop. But I got a small popcorn. It was $8.60. I looked at the guy like, I actually complained about this during the drive home. I said, that shit should be fucking illegal. $10 for a bag of popcorn, a small?
My dad's super cheap. Okay, this is where I learn from the best sometimes. All right, so my dad will get the large popcorn that's a 25-cent refill, and he has had the same fucking large tub forever, and he will take it in there, and he don't give a fuck. He'll flaunt it in the parking lot, walking with it, go in, buy his ticket, walk right up, slap it on the table, throw a quarter up, and like he's and like. It's a good strategy, you know what I mean? Bring your own candy, bring your own soda, keep it on the down low, and just go in, get your tickets and a popcorn. Because really, it's all about the popcorn.
All right, so back to the topic, though.
But
no to 3D. Have you tried the Dolby Atmos? I
have, and it is really cool. It is, at some point, I'm wondering if I'm watching a movie or getting a shiatsu massage sometimes with like the whole rumbling of the chairs and things. And like I said, I'm really immersed as is. So I'm just all about the IMAX, man.
IMAX is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just all about the IMAX experience.
Sure. All right. So I like IMAX. Of the three that you list, Beasley, IMAX is my favorite. Okay. Next is probably Dolby, but usually IMAX theaters have pretty damn good sound as well. And I think ours does have Atmos as well, the nearest one to my house.
Ooh.
But I will tell you what really has changed in my movie theater that is absolutely stupid good. They have recliners.
Yeah, they all recline.
You order your ticket online. You can pick your seat, and you have a full electric recliner.
Yeah, you push the button.
It's ungoddamn believable. It has made me. I don't like going to the movie theater. I used to, basically, I used to do a movie podcast.
Yes.
I did it. I went to 1 or 2 movies a week, and I got sick of going to the movie theater. Right.
This is something new there. Then how long?
Yeah, this is new within the last year or two.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they always had like movie theater seats.
They've been phased out here for years. Where?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather watch a movie at my house. Like I lay out down on the couch. I'm like, maybe I'll fall asleep if it's a bad movie.
You're gonna fall asleep,
I can pause it if I gotta take a leak.
Yeah, rewind it if something cool happens.
Yeah, I can rewind it for the sex scene.
Yeah,
that's right.
I can fast forward it through the talking bits and get right to the explosions.
There's no one there to judge what I do during that movie.
I've never heard what Hawkeye has to say. I'll be honest with you.
Me neither.
I don't give a shit. That guy isn't even a superhero.
We love you, Marvel.
Shots fired.
So I get you guys, and I'm right there with you. That Dolby today was my first time experiencing it, so that's why I wanted to ask you. But on a side note, quick draw question: what's the craziest thing you ever smuggled into a theater?
Weed.
You didn't use it, did you?
Allegedly.
I smuggled a full I went to a Jamaican restaurant years ago and got oxtails and rice and plantain rice.
So good.
Had the whole fucking thing. Jamaican beef patty, man. Had all of it in the bag. Had my kids. Yeah, that's why when you have a woman, I brought Kate home a new purse last week.
The whole theater
she was like,
that you had a Jamaican barbecue going up on the back left.
They had to know. They had to know.
I'd have walked up there. I'd have been like,
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I brought her home a new purse last week. She said, "This is like a briefcase. Why would you?" I said, "Kate, you can pack all kinds of shit in this theater." And she said, "That's why you bought this fucking purse." Absolutely. We're gonna stop at 3 restaurants on the way. Get in the car.
I don't think I've ever smuggled something into a theater.
Not food or anything. Not even.
I don't think so. I've been with people who've done it. But when I go to the theater, I think that every time I've gone, if I want snacks, and when I was doing the podcast, I was not buying snacks. I mean, if you eat fucking popcorn a tub of popcorn every time you go to the movie theater and you're going once or twice a week, you're fucking gonna die. Right? So like
That's my dad.
But now it's like when I go to the theater, it's like once or twice a year. It's only at this point, it's basically for Star Wars movies or Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Can you?
And I want
time.
like the full movie theater experience. I want that big tub of popcorn. I want a soda. My wife gets Twizzlers. I steal half of those.
Here's what you do then, okay?
Yeah.
Just next time, treat yourself. Do this right. Go to your favorite gas station that has a wide selection of just really good snacks.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, go with the salty sweet that you can get your Twizzlers there. You can get a big package of them for probably half the price. You can get three times as much. Yeah. So you'll have 3 times as more to steal, which is a win-win.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Chocolate goes really good with peanut butter. Get Crunch
and popcorn. Have you like sprinkled like Raisinets or something in popcorn?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, really?
So
Ooh,
get the Crunch a bunch, the little balls of Crunch bar, and I'm telling you, do a handful of popcorn and one of those, and it is the most amazing salty sweet combination. And
that does sound
I'm telling
good.
you can get whatever soda you want. You can get it. You know what I mean? Just try it next time. Live life on the edge, Brian.
We even got the VIP pass that lets us skip the snack line. We go right to the fucking front of the line. Yeah. And all these people like fucking going.
Yeah,
Look,
it's great.
I don't fly first class. I ain't got a BMW, but I skipped the fucking line at the movie theater.
Are you that guy at Six Flags too? That's like I got the fast pass. Excuse me. Yeah. You can get in front of everyone.
No, I'm the guy at the beer garden.
Yes, I love that. But try it next time, man. I'm telling you, Big Brother movie company is not watching right now.
No, Big Movie's not watching.
Big Movie
so
is not
funny.
watching.
Kate and I talked about that shit today. We're buying the popcorn. We saw this woman and her kid over in the fast. I said, "How much she pay for that shit? Is it worth it? Just to go spend her money first?" She was over there looking at all of us, giving her money.
And if you're like me and you got the fucking munchies before you go to the movie theater, dude, I will drop. I shit you not, like $50 on food if I have to, and I cannot.
Yeah. Well, now it's like a restaurant. Yeah. We got a movie theater. This isn't the closest one we got, but we got another movie theater. It's not too far away. It's basically a restaurant. Like they got table service at the movie theater.
Damn.
Yeah, you can like order beers. You can have like a full meal while you watch the movie. It's actually really cool.
It's called Cinebistro, right, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. To be honest,
that's
with
what
you.
it's called here.
I don't love it because for a couple of reasons. One is if I'm going out to dinner with people, I'd rather go to a restaurant or a bar where we can have a conversation as opposed to sitting around a table quietly staring at a movie.
It's so fucking fun, Briar. Like,
and the other thing is that I don't love the fact that people are like clinking glasses and shit while I'm trying to listen to dialogue.
Yeah, you can miss in the most
Would
important
you shut
thing.
the fuck up?
Yeah. Luke, I am your
cheers.
Wait, what did he just say? Like, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we tried that for the first time.
Did he say he was a toddler? What?
Yeah.
This doesn't even make sense.
A waddler? What is that?
We went to Cinebistro. We've been there probably about 4 or 5 times now. But yeah, you go in there, it's like 5-star dining. You got waiters walking around pre-show. You place your order, and then they come back with your glass of wine or your bourbon or whatever, and then they come and bring you this food. And it's so awesome, man. It's just a different kind of experience. Not, something you do every week or every month, but it's still very, very fun when you do go.
I did recently read an article that microwave popcorn is like horrific for you. There's 2 things wrong with it. It's filled with trans fats. So much so that it's the USDA, I believe, is getting involved in making them change it. And the lining in the bag itself is actually a carcinogen.
What?
Yeah.
Kids eat that shit like every other day.
Tell me about it, man. I've been fucking mainlining that shit since I was fucking a kid.
Time to switch to Jiffy Pop.
Dude, I prefer microwave popcorn over movie theater popcorn.
I don't know, man. It's something about the movie theater popcorn and that it's been sitting there all day, and it's the perfect 50-50 of like not quite stale but saturated with the right amount of butter that you can't really tell. There's something about it that's really good. I don't know. I love it.
It's never right. That's why you got to go to the fucking butter station yourself and make it right. Shit.
I agree.
All right. A pro tip. I learned this recently. The butter station, you hit the button and it like drips the butter, but it only hits the top.
Put it on the paper on the outside.
No, man. You take a straw, you stick it into halfway down, and then you pour the butter into the straw.
You're getting butter all over your fingers now. Look like you fingered somebody. What's going on?
You just said you heard of napkins. You just grab the straw out of there with a napkin.
Fuck that! You have a bowl full of napkins. You have butter on your finger. Pick up unbuttered popcorn and profit.
Boom.
Profit. Waste that shit.
Telling you, man. This is next level popcorn buttering technique.
I love it, Wilson. Oh God. Okay, so going on to our next topic.
Oh, we have more topics?
Yeah. Gary doesn't
to analyze
do 5 of them. He does 4 of them. So we came up with a couple ourselves. I believe this is Wilson's topic, and this is going to be pretty fun.
This is Briar's topic, actually.
Oh, it's Briar's. Okay.
Oh, what was it?
This is what has the internet ruined for you. The internet has changed the world in unbelievable and magical ways.
True enough. But look, I mean, nobody can deny. Like, I believe that the world is a better place with the internet, right? The freedom of information, the freedom of communication, the way, if I decide I want to start listening, dating, perfect. Like the way relationships can form. Look at us. I mean, we live nowhere near each other, and we're friends because the internet allows us to be friends, right?
Fantastic.
But there are some things that I do miss from a pre-internet world. And one of those things is now, music is wonderful right now. I can Wilson can tell me about, a song he heard, all I need to know is like a title and maybe the artist, and I could be listening to that song within minutes. But goddamn, I miss going to record stores.
What are those?
Walking into a record store, and obviously when I was doing this, they weren't selling records anymore; they were selling CDs. But you walked in, and there was always, they were filled with hipsters before they were called hipsters, right? These were the guys. These were the guys that music was their life. They only listened to the most obscure shit that nobody ever heard of, right? And they'd have it playing in the store. So you walk in and you're like, oh, damn. And your like gait would change to match the music because it was always cool fucking music, right? You walk in, you might ask the guy, what's this on the, what are you guys playing right now? He'd look down at you like you're some kind of peasant, and he might tell you, he might not, or
I never heard of him.
You'd go in and you'd be looking for like some specific thing. Maybe you wanted to get like let's say Creedence Clearwater Revival, right? And you're looking for a specific album. So you'd go to the C and Rock, and you'd start like flipping through the CDs and I finally found it, right? I've been looking for this for 3 weeks or 3 months, it's never been in stock. You finally, there was a rarity to music. There was a specialness to owning like a copy of something that not everybody could hear, like at a moment's notice, and being able to share that with your friends was really fun too. Making mixtapes and, you get a mixtape for the girl you like, and you share it with her, and it's got all songs about how you feel about her, like all that kind of stuff, man. That's all gone.
Okay, maybe not that song, but
were you singing Spice Girls? I remember, Briar. When I was a kid, I had my own little boombox, and I'd go and buy blank tapes, audio cassettes.
Yep.
And I listened to like whatever I was feeling that day or for that period of time. I go to that radio station and wait for that song to pop up, and then I hit that fucking record on that tape as soon as that good song came on. And then when you amassed 7 or 8 good songs, you felt like the king of the world because you had to actually do a lot of work waiting for that proper moment to start at the right time, end at the right time. And to me, it was a very special time. Now it's completely disappeared.
You remember that asshole who used to make mixtapes by hitting the pause button and it would stretch the tape out so every song you listened to was too fucking slow? You're like, what is wrong with this song? Like it's definitely the song, but there's something wrong.
It's been screwed.
You hit the fucking pause button, asshole. You got to hit the stop button.
For me,
That's
though,
great. That's great.
When I think about what the internet is, how it's adversely affected or, kind of left in the past, is for me the ability to have independent thought. Very seldom now do people really, really think for themselves and really mull over issues. that they might find troubling. Now people go to Google, people go to forums to find
Isn't
out.
that better though?
Jeeves.
Isn't this one of
Ask
the better
Jeeves?
things? Ask Jeeves. Because
I
now,
do-
if you
I
don't
do
know
agree.
about something, you can easily find out.
Yeah, that aspect of it, I do believe is true, but I still miss that challenge of finding out for myself and through trial and error and being able to fail and learning from my own experience. I think with the with the invent of the internet, somebody saying something stupid in the comments, but through the invent, since the internet's been around, it's really, really hard for people to do that. I mean, we all do. Nobody ever sits and really thinks for themselves anymore. And you can't even fail for yourself anymore. Nowadays, if you fail, it's a viral video. But back when we were kids, if you fail, it was just a fucking amazing memory.
Yeah, your friends all laugh at you. Now you make
Yeah,
$1 million because
it's
of your
all
YouTube
on the
AdSense
internet.
account.
Briar, a couple of days ago, I was talking about this when I was streaming, that when I was a kid, I was on a swing and the chain broke. And I was going really fast up and down. And I tried so hard to hold on with one hand, and I just hit the gravel, and smoke just bellowed into the sky. I was surrounded by kids. I looked up and I saw my brother fall down in the street. He's literally on the ground laughing.
Laughing his ass off.
I had
I'm not
rocks.
gonna lie to you, B. I wish I had video of this right
Yeah,
now.
I know you fucking do. I had rocks
Did you pick
stuck
yourself
in my
up,
hands.
dust yourself off?
No, you know what? I couldn't hear anything. All I heard was laughter. It was like people in their apartments, looking out the windows laughing. I was like, because I'm in the middle of the apartment complex. There's buildings all around, and everybody was laughing. My brother was on the ground laughing. It was a real fail. Now it would have been all over YouTube.
Well, speaking of information, Beasley, one of the things I miss is news. Is before the internet, newspapers had money.
Oh yeah.
Newsprint, like magazines
Newsweek,
had
yeah.
money, right?
That was gonna be
Washington
mine.
Times.
I miss magazine subscriptions.
And they funded investigative reporting.
Oh yeah.
Investigative reporting, an investigative
It's the
reporter,
best.
it's like an endangered species right now.
It doesn't exist.
It's all
Project
people
Veritas is the only one.
It's all people reporting on just regurgitating what was already said.
Yeah, they're
by the
regurgitating.
source.
Yeah, press releases. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what YouTube basically is, right?
Mhm.
It's just a massive amount of people just regurgitating press releases. That's what the newspaper has become. That's what most websites are. Like you go to a tech news website, and all it is regurgitations of press releases from NVIDIA, from Intel, from AMD, like over and over again. Any real investigative reporting is getting rarer and rarer. And when you do find somebody, like Beasley, you mentioned that you found somebody. When you do find somebody, like it's like a diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the rough.
Jason Schreier,
And the thing is,
hero we all need.
nowadays, if you do find investigative reporters, they're kind of looked at, with the stale face from traditional reporters now. It's a lost art.
Yeah,
And
back in the day, they remained very neutral. They would report on it.
objective,
And people,
yes.
Well, not necessarily like, yeah, they would remain objective by their reporting, but the way people look at investigative reporting nowadays, it's almost not held in the same regard that it was. Back in the day, people didn't really care what they were doing to get that information. They just took the information for what it was worth. And sometimes it's kind of looked down upon a little bit sometimes. Like, I don't know, sometimes, not all the time, but it's definitely held in a different light nowadays. But like, Briar, you had said magazines and newsprints and stuff like that. Absolutely, man. I miss Nintendo Power, Electronic Gaming Monthly.
I
Sega
EGM
have
still exists, yeah.
issue number 1 of EGM.
No, you don't.
I still have it.
That's
It's at my
gem.
mother's house.
Oh my God! You better
Yeah.
make sure she doesn't throw that away.
I
My
have.
God.
I think it's at my mom's house too, with another bin just full of different
Damn.
magazines and players guides. But I think it was like issue 3 or 4 of Nintendo Power. I didn't have 1, but it was right around 3 or 4 when I started getting it. My mom took me to the grocery store, and I think on the cover, maybe it wasn't 3 or 4. It was Battletoads. That's all I know. Battletoads was on the cover of Nintendo
And
Power.
you still have that?
And I loved Battletoads at the time. It's a fucking trash game now. It's a game that tries to be a tech demo. It tries to be too many things at once. But as a kid, I loved it, man. It was really hard, and it had couch co-op on it. But the Nintendo Power, picking over the magazine, going through, seeing what's to come, because the internet wasn't out for everyone then.
You had to heavily scrutinize every page. I remember that feeling of picking up my EGM or my Game Facts, which doesn't exist anymore, or one of these other obscure game magazines that just are defunct and don't exist. But you started the editorial at the very beginning, and you just page by page go through it, and that's the only way you could consume video game information. And I used to look forward to that day of the month where you go to GameStop or you go to Barnes & Noble, you go to wherever you could get your magazines from, a comic book store. You pick it up, you start looking through it. You're inside of a grocery store, you look at the cover. And there used to be video game magazines that came out that had demo discs.
Yeah, the demo discs, man. That's how I played Twisted Metal.
I mean, those are special times.
Dude, that demo disc, dude, I played the shit out of that. Like, you actually...
PlayStation Underground, I believe.
It was a PlayStation Underground magazine, and it came with a demo, and I think even in the demo, they let you play as Sweet Tooth, but it was only one level.
Oh!
But I played the shit out of that demo until I got that game, dude. Like, it was awesome. Like, just played the hell out of it.
I miss magazines a lot.
Snowboarding, there was like a 1080 snowboarding demo, or not 1080 snowboarding, because I think that was N64.
Yeah, I think for PlayStation it was ESPN. It wasn't snowboarding, but it had snowboarding, and then it had skateboarding. It had all those types of events in that.
I remember
game,
that ESPN. 1080 game though for the N64.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite games for that system.
That was a good one.
Now, since we're on this topic, who remembers a little thing called actual maps?
Yeah, I was just talking to my mother about this morning. We went out for brunch. I'm like, I don't know how to get anywhere anymore. I just fucking Google Map it, and I just follow the arrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get anywhere.
Yeah. You listen to the voice. I went to my nephew's birthday party, which ended up being much closer than I thought. But I wasn't looking at streets or learning them. I was waiting for her to tell me, in 1/2 mile, make a left on this road. And so that's what we do now. But I remember, going across the country in the 90s, early 2000s, and you'd have to stop, when you cross a state line, you stop at the nearest gas station. They knew what you were looking for. There was a kiosk in the corner.
Yeah, they'd have like a rotator.
Yes, and it'll rotate, and you pick up that map for whichever direction you were going. You open it up to make sure you're going the right way. You go up front, and you buy it. You go sit in your car for 30 minutes, and you look at that fucking map to figure it out. And it's just so crazy how the internet's changed the world. I think it's obviously much for the better. But
as a kid, early on after getting my license, I must have been 16 or 17 at the time. Me and a bunch of friends decided to go up to Boston for the day and just hang out in Boston, living in Connecticut. And Boston and where I live, it's basically you gotta go southwest to get back home. And I'm driving in this old fucking beat up Volvo station wagon, and we're coming home after a long day of having a blast in Boston. And I'm like, guys, shouldn't I be going west to go to home? And everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why the fuck is the sunset in my rearview mirror? So
instinct kicked in.
Basically, we had spent, everybody in that car, there's 6 people in that car, every one of them to a man had spent all their money in Boston. There was not $2 in that car to buy a map. So we had to steal it. We had to steal it to get home. Like, we had no fucking choice. So
here's
we
the thing.
come up with this master fucking plan to fucking distract the fucking guy working in the fucking 7-Eleven to steal a fucking map so
Here's
we
the
can
thing.
fucking get home.
If you were running the 7-Eleven and you caught some kids out of all the things they could have stole,
you had to let them go.
Booze, soda, candy, all sorts of expensive things, motor oil, all this stuff, and they legit need a map. Would you be mad? Because I wouldn't.
I would bust their fucking stones though, man.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe a little bit, but still, like, you needed that map, dude. I remember getting lost all the time growing up, dude, and like having to pull over at a gas station and just be like, do you know how I get back to this town or that town? And like, it was very common. Like, nowadays people are like, I don't know, like, don't you have a phone?
We got our licenses. This is how old I am, but we had our licenses before cell phones were really a thing, right? Certainly before smartphones.
Absolutely.
And we as friends would kind of just get in the car and just start driving. We didn't really have a destination in mind. We were just hanging out, and we didn't want to be at our houses. you know, with our parents. So we just jump in the car and start driving around, get lost as fuck. But, you know, by the time we graduated high school, we knew the fuck out of every road in like a, you know, a 3-town radius around the town we grew up in.
Yeah, same. Yeah, man, it ruined mental roadmap knowledge. I cannot fucking do anything. Like, I remember it was a very simple drive. It was one highway south to Southern Illinois to get to this concert, and it was Cottonmouth Kings, and it was going to be great. We had listened to music forever. They were the greatest, like, very cool band. There was a good chance we were going to get to hang out with them after, and like all this stuff. And we kept cruising. And my buddy's like, you know, I just noticed a sign for, Champaign, and Champagne's like an hour past Bloomington where we're supposed to be going. And that's when we realized that we had gone an hour past what we were supposed to go.
Fuck.
So we drove back. Luckily got there. We had just missed all the opening acts. That's it. And we had got there in time. Got to hang out with them, got to get their autographs, all this cool stuff. And but it almost fucked us. Had we had GPS right then, she'd have been like, hey, you stoners, take a right. Take a right at the next ramp. Don't continue to go for another hour.
Do not pass go. Do
not collect $100.
Yeah, it's funny how things have changed, man. It's a
doubt.
From the time I turned like 16 to now, it's been a wild ride. Like, just how fast things are changing.
So fast,
things are changing.
Unbelievable.
Things are changing all the time. I mean, I feel like it's slowed down in like the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
Like, after the invention of smartphones, like that was kind of like the peak, and like it's kind of slowed down since.
Android and Apple, that was the last big explosion of technology.
But
when
like
the iPhone came along and the Android.
When I was growing up, nobody had computers in their house.
Nope.
Nobody had the internet, right? Nope. But I will say, you'd go to a bar, you go out to dinner with your friends, and you'd talk.
What's that?
Yeah, it's when you don't look down at your phone. You don't look at Twitter every 3 seconds. You know, you don't have somebody fucking pinging you all the time. I'll be honest with you. I often think about getting rid of my cell phone. Like, I often think about it.
Dude, I hate it. Like, I only use it for making calls, making texts, and sometimes I'll ignore a few of those depending, like, if I get them. But dude, like, yeah, social media is great. I love being in contact with everyone's social media, but like,
it can be too much sometimes.
There is not even necessarily from the social media side, but I'll just be like, damn, I am so tied down to this fucking thing, man.
Yeah, we've all become dependent on this thing for everything.
But I'll be just scrolling through Twitter, and like I'll realize I've been doing this for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
what am I doing with my real life while I'm, your real life's going by while you're looking at this phone? It's really horrible when you think about it. It's kind of depressing. I got a question for you guys. Who remembers a time before something called spoilers existed?
Oh, that was going to be one that I said. Internet ruined The Force Awakens for me, and I'm not going to say what.
Spoilers.
Nope, I'm not even going to say what. That's all I'm going to say. That no sooner than that movie, the very first showing in the United States, had been done for 2 minutes.
You had
every single fucking Twitch chat had a massive spoiler. It was as though there was a convention of people that decided that they were going to just hit every popular avenue to spoil
I had
it.
like 30 to 40 different words that were like basically a bannable word in my Twitch chat. Like, It was that bad for that movie. Like, if you mentioned anything related to that spoiler, you'd basically get insta banned.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's still, and they got through it. They found a way to do it to me.
That's so fucked. Yeah, man. Whenever something like that's going on now, I've learned a little bit. Like, whenever I'm expecting trailers right around E3, or any of these game shows, these trade shows are coming around, or if I'm expecting, like last night, UFC 223 happened. I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I wanted to be able to kind of read and kind of go through the motions of what actually took place during these fights. I was interested in seeing. Opened up YouTube this morning, arm up immediately. You know who won? I'm like, oh my God! It kind of, the spoiler aspect of things really, it can be destructive in a lot of ways. And so, like, when E3 and stuff comes around, I unsubscribe to particular channels. I stop following particular people because I know that if I, just going through my daily routine, I open up an app, it's going to be there. I'm going to see something that I wanted to see for the first time on my own without, someone kind of spoiling it for me. So the internet created spoilers, and for that, fuck you, internet, because it was great before we had them.
Yeah. During Game of Thrones, our phones are not even in like the room with us.
Really? That's hardcore, man.
Yeah, especially if we don't get to watch it.
Yeah.
Like when
That
it's
was-
live.
That sucks.
That was
yeah.
actually another one, and I'm not gonna get into what episode. I'm not even gonna get into what episode.
I haven't seen an episode yet.
But there
Still
was
haven't.
a specific episode where something happened to a character where it was the same thing. 10:01 p.m. Game of Thrones had just ended, and everyone took it to their favorite Twitch channel with the most viewers of the spoiler. And I'm just like, dude, it's crazy, man. Like, you really got to be careful. It's like before Destiny 2 came out, there were a lot of people who had to make videos saying like, look, if you don't want any spoilers, I'm going to report on this because that's what I do for my channel.
Ended up putting, if it had anything to do with the story or the plot at all, I think I ended up putting spoiler in the title.
Mm-hmm.
And then even then, like, I had to be careful about the title of the video because people would get mad about the title
Or
of
the
video.
thumbnail.
Or the thumbnail.
Or the thumbnail. Like if it was like, oh, new subclass or something like that, and it showed a picture of the
Can't
subclass.
please them all.
It was tough. But you can see where they're coming from.
Yeah, totally. They want to go on media blackout mode. I remember putting discussions in the Tower Life Discord that there was a spoiler section for people who didn't care and wanted to discuss it. And then there in general chat, there was like a general no Destiny 2 talk. Like if you want to talk about Destiny 2, go to the proper channel for it. Like there's ways that you can avoid it, but yeah, it is crazy.
What's the next topic?
We got one stolen from the deep vault from one Mr. Gary Diaz.
From the vault.
Stolen
those
treasure.
Deep cuts.
Once again, proving we are a gaming podcast. What is the most important ingredient to make a great game? So look at it as like making a sandwich here. Bread, meat, toppings, veggies, condiments, all those things make a great sandwich. So look at it, if you're building a video game, what are the most important ingredients to make a great game? So right off the bat, for me, I'm going to say I would say story.
Story is first.
Story is first. Lay down the foundation, get your story going. And then another huge thing for me, doesn't necessarily have to be in this order, but replayability.
You guys are fucking crazy. Story is first.
Story is first, 100%.
Go watch a fucking movie.
How do you set the mood?
Go read a book.
Well, there's no story in games like PUBG.
Gameplay is first.
Gameplay is first, but hear me out.
Much like bread, is the most important thing to the game sandwich.
I get what you're saying, but hold on, hear me out, okay? Try to explain Destiny's gameplay with no story. You're allowed to use words like you're not. No, hold on.
Imagine Destiny with bad gameplay.
Hold on. Whoa.
He got you.
Oh, this guy. So check it out. You're not allowed to use words like warlock. You're not allowed to use words like hand cannon. You're allowed to use words like exciting, pew pew, jump, and you can't use the word space because that's part of the story. Space magic. You know what I mean? Like, so how would you describe a game's gameplay with no story?
All right. Well, I don't care. If the gameplay is fun, I don't give a shit about the story.
Well,
I didn't give a shit about the story in Destiny 1. I mean, there was no story in Destiny 1. Is
there a story in PUBG?
Fucking a bunch of fucking garbage. Yeah. What's the story of PUBG? What's the story of Fortnite?
If I ever have to navigate a minefield, I'm taking you with me, Briar, because you are the tiptoe master.
Well, I mean, he made a good point. See, for me, I'm thinking of a seminal kind of experience. If you're going to sit and play a game, like I'm playing The Witcher, I love it. And to me, the story, the world building of that game is so important. Mm-hmm. The gameplay kind of is second to that. The gameplay isn't, really as amazing as, for me, seeing Geralt go through all these things and really seeing the world building and the character development and all these things happening. But yeah, story is great. I think it's an important part of a game if you're going in that direction, but it's absolutely not essential. And that's being proven by some of the biggest games that are out there right now. If you look at Twitch, A lot of these games have no story at all, but it has.
I'll never forget the story of Pac-Man and how riveting it was. And how it really, I mean, it affected. It not
Did you
only
hear about
affected,
the funeral he went to? Insane.
Where do you think those ghosts came from? Man, the lore
went down.
Have you read the grimoire that was on the Pac-Man website?
No, I never unlocked it because there was one for a seasonal event that I wasn't able to log in during that time. There was one hidden away in the Pac-Man raid. I'll
tell you, Pinky Man, it hits home.
Pour one out for Pinky.
Yeah,
pour one out for Pinky.
I mean, the earliest games didn't even have story. It was all left to your imagination. You know, there's no story for Asteroid, or Cubert.
Okay, I mean, there was a premises to the story, like at least on the back of the box. Like,
when you think about, Wilson, your favorite game experiences, even like modern ones now, like the new Mario that came out for the Switch, right? Mario Odyssey. It's great, but the story wasn't that great. The game is great because of.
Let me give you a counter argument. Pretty much any other Final Fantasy other than 7, not a fan of. The RPG, the turn-based RPG, there's very few turn-based RPGs I like. 7 I love because of the story. Earthbound, amazing turn-based RPG, not for everyone. Loved the story, loved relatable that for once it wasn't set in a mystical world. It was just some kids and, in modern times, kid with a baseball cap, stuff like that. Like the story, the mechanics, like sure they're different. Sure there's different spells and different attacks and stuff like that, but ultimately it's a turn-based game. Like there's certain ones like Final Fantasy Tactics, like ain't nobody playing that for the gameplay. Let's be real, like it's the story to me anyway.
I
so
might
it's
disagree with you on Tactics.
Yeah.
Really?
RTSs are a little bit different.
But I can see that an RTS and not just a turn-based strategy. Like I
thought it was turn-based. I didn't realize it RTS.
Yeah,
Tactics?
I wouldn't really.
Yeah.
I don't really know. That's for a different. That debate's for a different.
Yeah,
but like, it's
get back into our genre talk.
Yeah, right. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy unlocking new spells and it's fun and getting new weapons and things like that. That is, to me, I feel like the two could potentially. I could settle for their symbiotic in a way.
Yeah, and I can understand and agree with that. I love Final Fantasy 12. I think it's amazing, Zodiac Age, and it's not. It's really amazing. I love Final Fantasy VIII story with Squall and Renault. I thought that was a beautiful love story, and the gameplay for me was, it was ho-hum. It wasn't that great. I guess it all depends on what you're looking for, what you as a gamer are taking out of an experience. Some people probably really love these, the RTS or the turn-based playstyles of some of these games more than the story. Some people probably like, in Final Fantasy 12, opening up all these little gems and kind of making your characters, as Gary would say, it's like a book playing through like the encyclopedia instead of playing a game. But for me, creating that kind of world where my characters did exactly what I wanted them to me, that was almost more important than the story to make my gambit system work the way I wanted it to work. But first and foremost, and we think about these games, Mario 64, Super Mario, we think about Uncharted. Uncharted.
Man. It's like I got like an automatic reaction anytime somebody mentions the gambit system. I fall asleep.
Wake your ass up. But when we go back to the games of old, Wilson, yourself included, barring Final Fantasy, many of those games don't have a really strong story or a strong narrative pool. It's usually the game.
I mean, it's
the gameplay first.
There was no way to do it. I mean, you could read the back of the box, but I mean, when I played Contra, I was absolutely in love with that game. And that was basically
perfect example.
Where we got Sylvester Stallone here, we got Schwarzenegger here, and we're gonna blow up a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
You were never curious about, the characters and what was going on? Like nothing of that? You didn't, Double Dragon? You didn't want to know more about
I know
Benny
that
and
the chick got punched in the stomach in Double Dragon. That shit was fucked up. I'm kicking everybody's ass at that point. So the story didn't matter. He hit her in the stomach and picked her up and walked off.
I think
he's getting his ass kicked.
I don't get me wrong. I do agree with you guys. It definitely, going back to the beginning of video games, it was all about the gameplay itself. But
they didn't have the technology needed to tell a good story. So
there were a few outliers that
some people
stood out and told a good story. Like there were a few games. Like
some people really love, turkey sandwiches, and some people really love tuna sandwiches, right? And it's okay to have people who love both, right?
Yeah.
And some people are really going to love story-based games. For me, a story has to be goddamn good to get me to really buy in.
Brian?
Wolfenstein 2 is a good
that
example because the
insane.
gameplay was not really that good in that game.
It's very
but the
hard.
story and the cutscenes were so good that it kept me going anyway. Witcher 3. I would argue the Witcher 3's gameplay was okay. You know, it was passable. The sword fighting was kind of button mashy, and like the customization options on your character, they didn't really mean a whole lot to me. But the story and the world that was crafted was amazing. It was just so intoxicating.
Yeah.
But the games I really stick with and the games that I love and I come back to day after day, it's always because of gameplay. It's always because of gameplay. The story games, I'll play through the story and I'll be done with. The games that have amazing gameplay, I get stuck on for months.
Years, Briar. Don't fuck around.
Yeah, years.
Talk about months, my ass. Years. We don't want to hear that. And I think we can all agree with that and disagree at the same time. It all depends on the game. It really depends on the gamer, what you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
Some people. There's
no wrong answer here.
Yeah. Some people say they like the way a game looks.
But I've got the right answer.
Yeah. Well, in this situation, you fucking did, Briar. You totally did. All right. So. The next topic
it's
is
like porn. As long as the gameplay is good, you can ignore the story.
Yes, just like porn.
Sometimes the story makes that too. Damn it! All right, anyway,
I've never seen a porn with a good story. All right, so this is an important. Never seen the story. You'll send me some.
I've got some page turners. All right.
So the next topic is the measure of a man. And it's very important to me. And it'll let me know the kind of gentleman I'm doing the show with. Who, and people in the audience and people in chat, please let us know as well. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle and why?
This could be a reoccurring topic, just the measure of a man. And then
it wouldn't be a bad one, right?
Yeah.
I'm so torn. I love Raphael, but he could be a real fucking bitch.
Asshole.
Cool but rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, I think Michelangelo is my boy. I just love Michelangelo.
Michelangelo's my turtle too, Briar. And we're going to have to fight for him. Yeah.
You guys are going to hate me.
We can't have the same turtle? We can't have a little Ninja Turtle?
There's a lot of holes in that shell, Briar.
Little Ninja Turtle sandwich?
Mine was Donatello because I was a
it's
fucking
not gay
nerd.
if our dicks don't touch.
Absolutely. High five.
There's no eye contact. Donatello was my favorite.
Spin that shell, Briar.
It was because he was, and I know it's not cool, but he was the pacifist that had the bow. And my parents wouldn't let me have nunchucks or sais or swords. There was about 1 billion sticks in the backyard, or what I used to do to get that perfect Donatello bow staff. And my mom used to love this. I used to unscrew the wooden broom handle from the broom.
Yep.
And that was perfect, man. It was perfect weight distribution and, straight as an arrow. But Donatello was my favorite.
It got a little bit of a whip to it, too.
A little bit of a crack. You could.
Yeah.
But he was my favorite because he was the tech guy. And I always used to love taking stuff apart. And I was always kind of the nerdy tech kid growing up. Like, I'd try to fix stuff. Usually just end up breaking it more, but, whatever. Like,
we got two Raphaels and two Michelangelos in the comments here.
I like Raphael. Raphael was good. Leonardo, we can all agree on, was an asshole, though, right?
No.
It was a bitch. Leonardo.
No. Can't do that.
No good.
No one ever said you're the leader to him.
he just assumed
Leonardo
I've got the fucking
brother.
swords. You motherfuckers are walking around with these wooden things.
Can we all agree that fight at the end of the original Ninja Turtles with Shredder on top of the building was the baddest shit in 1990? But okay, look, this is why I like Michelangelo and really, right? This is why I like Michelangelo. When I was a kid, my older brother, his favorite turtle was Leonardo, and he was the oldest brother, just like my brother, and kind of looked
the alpha brother.
Yeah, even though Joe slowly became the beta because I'm the fucking alpha now. But my younger brother Dory, who grew up to be the most foolish brother in the family, for some reason his favorite was Donatello. And this guy, Donatello was very adept at technology, very smart. But Dory, my brother, very adept at going to jail. So it's a different kind of adaptation. But mine was always Michelangelo. And the thing that I was always so smitten with Michelangelo was that he was fighting
That
two
ass.
natures. That too. Michelangelo was fighting two natures to me. Okay, it takes an incredible amount of discipline to be taught by Splinter to do all this amazing shit. To be a ninja, to be silent, and to be able to call on your inner aura and your all this shit. But at the same time, he fought against that and was just this, come on, dude. He was that guy. Mm-hmm. And he's loved his pizza.
That's who I relate with more now is Michelangelo.
I'm totally not surprised.
Yeah, he's definitely the one that's out of any of those that's most likely.
He was enthusiastic. he had an enthusiasm for life that I admired.
Yeah, he was.
But he was also the guy who brought everybody together. Leonardo might have been the leader, but Michelangelo was the glue. Yeah,
I can agree there. Michelangelo, he was a very very deep character. It was much more than just the surf boy mentality and the way he talked. I think that he was just he loved life, and he was just an amazing turtle, and hopefully he'll live on forever.
Amazing turtle.
Yeah, he was my favorite turtle. Absolutely. Yeah. I bought a real turtle years later. I put him in an aquarium, and I made it really nice. And all he used to do was make that water smell really bad. And one day I sold him.
I'm just glad that story didn't end with you eating him.
No turtles. Oh, I did buy a
Giant Beastly dines on turtle soup.
Turtle soup.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So nobody liked Leonardo, but the reason no one picked Leonardo is because it can be intimidating to be in the presence of perfection. And Leonardo was...
He wasn't perfect?
Oh, yes, he was. Leonardo, he was never conflicted. He never made a bad choice.
That's why he was so boring, though. Because that's what's my problem with the Marvel Captain America right now. Is the Captain America that Marvel portrays right now in those movies, he's so one note, and he's always got to do the right thing, and there's no conflict about it. Even when there's conflict...
That's just the devil in you talking, Brian.
Even when there's conflict between every other, superhero in that movie about a certain action, he's always doing the right thing, and there's no conflict about it. It's just so fucking one note and boring. That's how I see... Leonardo, that's how I see, that's why Raphael was much more interesting to me, because there was a conflict within him.
He was very complicated.
Oh, yeah, man. Remember in the movies, he was kind of off doing his own thing for a while. I think it was the second one.
It was the first one.
Was it the first one? Yeah, he met Casey Jones and stuff like that. He was having that big issue. He had that brawl with Casey Jones in the alley and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was conflicted because he wanted to be like Leonardo, but he didn't believe in total altruism. He wanted to just be normal. He was out prowling the streets in his coat that
I want to bust some ass, man.
It made him look like a real human being. If you guys ever saw him in that coat, you couldn't even tell it was a turtle. But he's walking around.
Couldn't even tell. The fuck's that guy under his coat?
Yeah. What the fuck is that under that coat?
Let me show you.
I was a big fan of turtles.
He was actually out there just flashing people in that trench coat. That's what he was doing.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of shit in that show, man.
Hey, where you going, lady? And this.
They have you guys seen? They have 6-packs on their shell. Imagine what's underneath that shit. It's just totally insane.
Oh, I imagine it on the regular. Also, I'm adding Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go to my stream playlist.
Yes. Oh, but Vanilla Ice, I'd love to hear that, man.
That's a good one, man.
I still remember
my first roommate in college had every Vanilla Ice album, played him all the time. What a great guy. Oh, man. Chad. Love you, brother.
You guys know
Chad from Maine. Chad from Maine. Every Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice's real name?
Chad?
Rob Van Winkle.
Yeah,
Rob Van Winkle.
Rob Van Winkle is his real name.
He spent a lot of time on MTV over the last decade or so.
I think I saw him on Celebrity Rehab or some shit.
Yeah, he was doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And all that.
He had a home improvement show for a while where he was flipping houses.
Really?
Yeah. I like Fork Knife Spoon's comment. Captain America, Leonardo won't steal a map to get home.
Yep.
That's why I don't like him. That's why I don't like him.
I would steal any map to get home. I don't give a shit who it belongs to. If it belongs to you out there listening and I need it,
I'm sorry. I'll send you $2.
Time to pay back my debt. Way to go, Briar. Briar, if you could run into that person right now, would you tell them that it was you years ago and you stole a map?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't recognize that person.
What if you knew for sure that this person you were looking at, this person out in the distance somewhere in your life, you met this person, and you knew that there was this person somehow, would you tell him that, you know?
Yeah, man, the statute's up. I can't get in trouble for that anymore.
Yeah, America, bitch.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I'll buy you a beer. We can laugh about this.
They live the free home of the brave.
It's amazing how we changed, though, right? Over the course of years, young Briar was down to come up with this immaculate, elaborate plan to get a map, but older Briar says that he would have busted those kids' chops. Isn't it crazy how?
No, I wouldn't have called the cops, but I definitely would have given him a hard time.
I got something,
and that's a fact.
I got something that we can kind of add to this topic. There's 4 of us.
Yeah.
There's 4 Ninja Turtles. Well, I mean, Gary's not here, but there is 4 hosts. There's 4 Ninja Turtles.
Nobody's taking my Mikey. I know how to use nunchucks, and I have nunchucks.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Gary is Raphael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, but
agreed.
Agreed.
Michelangelo's. Oh no, he is. Yeah, you're right, Raphael.
Yeah.
How's that song go?
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
No.
Michelangelo is a party dude. That song, the Teenage Mutant. It's the most lazy theme song ever. It's literally just the name of the song. Or
it was catchy though. It was catchy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
They're heroes in a half shell, and they're green.
All right, so
once an evil shredder attacks, these turtle boys don't cut them no slack. Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, we're definitely done with this. The question is, I feel like, Beasley, can we agree that Wilson would be Michelangelo?
He said he wants Mikey.
I'm Michelangelo.
No, we're not naming for ourselves. We're naming somebody else. What turtle does Wilson most closely resemble?
Donatello. He looks just like him.
Thanks? Question mark? Wait, hold on. Are we talking TMNT movie 1 or the second one where they looked like Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh, I was going animated
series. The third
series.
one was the worst. The second one was passable.
I was all about the animated series.
The first one? Wait, did I get that backwards?
Keno was in part 2. He was the kid at the beginning where he was the pizza delivery guy and he went to train. They had the new April O'Neil. Yeah. Part 1 was when they actually looked kind of real, and they went out with Casey Jones and stayed in that house and trained to fight Shredder.
1 was great.
Kidnapped Splinter. It was awesome. Yes.
2 not
all right. So Beasley, we got to decide on Wilson here.
I just told you, I'm not giving Michelangelo to anybody. He's been mine for 40 fucking years.
Even they don't have to be exclusive.
They don't. Can we
both be Michelangelo? Can't you both be Michelangelo?
I don't believe him, but not well. I guess monogamy is.
Can we both be a party dude? I like pizza and I like to party. Okay, dude.
I mean, you're definitely not Donatello, Beasley, because you and Tech do not mix. You're like oil and water.
That's bullshit. Have you seen my Yobo?
I would say he's got the Michelangelo aspect of everything's all good and generally a positive person.
I don't know, man. Beasley's got a strong moral compass. I kind of want to put him as Leonardo.
No. That would make me the leader, and then you'd kill me and take over. You'd have to be Raphael to do
I
that.
don't like being a leader. We already have established that.
Wilson's the leader. He doesn't like to be the leader. He always comes through strong in the leadership role.
You know what? Beasley, you're onto something here, because it's also a strong moral compass on Wilson.
Absolutely.
I'm a Hanzo player that uses a Zim. That just shot that down out of the sky.
He does have a good down. His moral compass is strong. He even has the best compass when we play Sea of Thieves. So he definitely should be Leonardo.
All right. Wilson, who's Beasley? I mean, he wants to be Michelangelo.
I hear him on that, though.
You
talked about how he's pretty carefree. He's always trying to smile and look at the funny side of things. I would say that's Beasley.
You liking him as Michelangelo?
Beasley would rather be gaming right now, like how Michelangelo would rather be on a skateboard.
I actually do know how to ride a skateboard, and I actually have real nunchucks that I do know how to use. Swear to God.
That's pretty convincing.
Oh man, I like him as Leo.
You like him as Leo?
I like him as Leo.
Those are lightsabers. Those aren't real swords. I have the real nunchucks.
I like him as Leo. I gotta say it.
That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But you, however,
I like him as Leonardo.
Are definitely a dash of Leo with tons of Donatello. Because you are not a violent person. You are definitely the pacifist.
Briar, you brought us all together.
I'm
going to take this as a great compliment, but I disagree. I'm definitely a Raphael, and fucking Gary is definitely Shredder.
Briar can be cool, but
if I had known that, if I had known we had the villains involved. So Briar can be Toka or
I just wanted an excuse to say Gary was Shredder.
You're so right about that.
You are the brain of the group, Briar. You should be Crane.
Briar's got a little bit of Splinter in him, though, too, man. That's kind of... Let me bestow...
A rat?
Splinter's
a rat thing?
the exact same color as Briar's.
What Splinter is aside as a physical creature does not matter. It's more of the... Because Splinter, you talk about Leo being the leader. He's sensei. He's the man. You know what I mean? Briar Sensei. Senpai.
Shit.
Well, remember they get
Senpai.
remember when Leonardo was slicing and dicing at Pisa and it just slapped down on top of Splinter's head. So I could just imagine that happening to Briar.
Splinter, something that would happen to me.
You do have his beard, Briar. It's the same length too.
And you are a kung fu master.
That's true. I did watch a lot of kung fu movies, so I consider myself an expert.
Was your name Oroko Saki in your last life?
Maybe.
Once or twice.
Splinter it is. So
Probably.
We got two turtles, Splinter, and Shredder.
All right, what's our next topic?
All right, this is a good one. All right, this one we're going to have a little bit of fun with.
All right.
This is Revolver Plays.
Well, thank God, because this episode has just been boring as shit so far.
It's always boring. I can't stand
Not a laugh to be found anywhere.
Never. Revolver Plays I've Never. So if there's anybody out there who is not familiar with the game I've Never, there's a couple different ways of playing it. There's a board game or there's a drinking game, which we're going to play. So the rules is a verbal game is started with the players getting into a circle, or in our case, a triangle, I guess. The first player says a simple statement starting with, "Never have I ever." Anyone at some point in their lives who has done that action must drink. And then we'll go around. So I'll start off. This will be a good one here. I have never killed anyone in PUBG for scopes. Briar took a drink. Briar drinks. All right. Now it would be somebody else's turn. Doesn't matter.
All
right.
I have never maliciously shot down my friends in Left 4 Dead. Not too thirsty.
I have
not too thirsty on that
never
one.
Never have I ever been caught masturbating by my significant other.
I'm just thirsty. I didn't hear the question. I'm just thirsty. That's a good one. Never have I purchased a video game purchased an item because Gary Diaz told me to.
Fucking Gary.
All of us are drinking on that one.
Yeah. I initially had called this the free episode because Gary Diaz isn't here to make us spend all our money.
Dinner tonight, kids. Dinner tonight.
Dinner tonight.
Never have I ever had a threesome. Even if you had,
I don't think I'm going to count that one. Nope.
I'm not going to count that one.
I'm going to count that one.
Shit.
Never have I hunted possum or eaten squirrel. Excuse me, trapped possum or eaten squirrel. I've eaten squirrels, though. That one's on me.
God damn you, Wilson. That's a good one.
Some fun ones.
I wish I had thinking of some before I started. Having trouble.
Never have I convinced my friends to buy a brand new gaming console. You better drink that shit, Briar.
100%.
Who did I convince to buy a gaming console?
Gaming hardware. Let's say it that way. I bought this whole PC because of you.
I convinced.
Because of you, Brian.
That's Gary, man.
No,
Gary
it's
did
not.
that shit.
You called me. The first time I heard on-air PC came out of your fucking mouth. I didn't hear that shit.
Wasn't intentional.
You're right. Never have I ever tasted ass. You better take a sip, Brian.
I have no illusions. Right? I have no illusions.
I can't lie, Wilson.
Pour it down, Beasley. I'm running out of drink. Jesus. These are all... Never have I accidentally left my webcam or stream on. Briar.
I did that shit. I gotta tell these stories real quick. I did that shit on Planet Destiny. I had on the Planet Destiny channel. I had Patrick fucking calling me on the phone like, you need to turn off the stream so I can start streaming. You're not streaming anything. I can hear you talking to your kids in the background.
Or can I tell the Guardian Con one, or are we not?
Real
Sure.
quick, one second, Wilson. I want some never have I ever in the comments too. You guys hit us up with some. We're going to do them.
Absolutely. Briar went to go live one time, and he had been doing stream for Guardian Con, and he forgot to change his stream key.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone who followed Guardian Con got a notification that Guardian Con went live, and chat was like, I hope it's Broman. I hope it's God. And Briar was just kind of...
It's just Briar.
Nope. Stop streaming. Text Broman an apology, and no big deal. And
No, he was a champ about it, though. He was really nice.
Oh, God. Okay, so we got a couple good
like
ones.
Twitter exploded because of that, though. Ooh, what's happening over on the Guardian Con channel?
it's a surprise stream. It's a bonus incentive. Just kidding.
These are pretty rough.
Here's a good one.
Go for it.
I've never tried to outrun the police in my car.
Really? No wonder you don't like Leonardo.
I didn't try. I got away with it too back in high school. Just want to say, we were talking about knowing them back roads like the back of your hand before GPS.
Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't do it today, but when I was a kid.
No, when I was a kid, and I would have just made the defense of just like, well, I mean, if you never saw me or I never saw you, you never were trying to stop me. So
Never have I ever touched a male inappropriately.
oh well. Wait till Guardian Con.
It's likely to happen to you too.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
When I give my friends hugs, that hand tends to wander.
Mm-hmm. I believe last year when I said
I've never seen Tefty look so shocked.
Yeah, right? I love how people are using the goth sip, chat to drink along with us.
Okay, so Hitman hit me up with one. I guess he wants me to take a drink. Never have I ever spent this much time on Twitch without knowing anything about Nightbot. And I still don't know what Nightbot is.
Hey, do you guys, this is really adorable. This is really adorable. There's a lot of people.
Zero.
There's a lot of people who I'll see in streams who will try to talk to Nightbot. You ever see those people that think Nightbot's like a real person and try to talk to him? And every now and then you could tell when people are trolling, like when they're like, F you, Nightbot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, Nightbot's being a dick. Or like, but there was legit.
Like somebody will say like at Nightbot, like
there was this this one person who was in a Twitch chat and was like, Nightbot, you go to a lot of the same streams that I go to. And like, what's up with that? And like everyone, there was just like fail fishes for days in chat. Like nobody wanted to tell this poor soul that you'd have something in common with an AI, basically. Like
when I was streaming Hunt, there was a guy who would kind of hang out in that directory, and when the servers were going down, he would go to all the streamers' chats and let them know. It was really nice. I didn't know if that guy was a bot or not, so I had to ask him. And Gary says, it literally says in the message, I'm not a bot.
I got one.
I was there for that too. You were like, you know, that's pretty helpful. I wonder if that guy's a bot. And like you look away, Gary goes, it literally says I'm not a bot.
Like, if you had read the whole message.
Right.
Never do I walk around the house naked when my kids aren't home.
Well, I don't have kids, but
Take a drink, Wilson.
Man,
my dad was big
You know,
on that.
it's-
He didn't give a fuck.
I'll tell you what's dangerous is snow days.
More ways than one.
Snow days, sick days, very, very dangerous. Also, early dismissal days could be very dangerous as well. Whoa, you're home early.
Never have I done a prestige raid on Destiny 2.
I mean, am I drinking if I did it or if I didn't do it?
You did do it.
No, okay. Well, I've never done that, so I will
Mhm.
not be taking it.
All right. Should we revisit this? This could be something that we do.
Yeah,
again.
we can come back to this. I'd like to have some time to mull some.
Yeah, come
really
up with
good
some
ones over.
really good ones. Man,
Shit that'll really like get people
fuck up
twisted
your
in their
lives.
seats. Yeah.
Well, it's about perfect timing. We got 13 minutes left.
Your
and
relationship's
we
going to
have
be
one
over after
topic.
this game.
One
One
topic. Wow, we are killing it today.
We are, man. It's almost
We
like
don't
we're
have
more
any
efficient
dead
without
weight.
Gary.
Right? It's like we don't have like it's just the turtles without Splinter coming around fucking us up. Or Shredder,
Yeah.
sorry.
Both,
Shredder.
arguably.
Oh, my
Arguably. So our
gosh.
last.
I
topic
love
of
you,
the day-
Gary, and I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Don't
man,
mean
we
to be
do
mean.
miss Gary. We love him to death.
Get well, buddy.
No doubt.
We mean that. We love you, man.
doubt.
Okay.
Where do you
Well, you
see
are
your
Shredder.
co-hosts in the far future? So here's the deal: you're not allowed to answer for yourself. All right.
Can't answer. Okay.
Nope. So, for instance, me and Briar could determine where we see Beastly in the future. You and
Okay.
Briar could determine me,
All
and
right.
then me and
And
you,
you
could
and I
determine
could-
Briar.
okay.
You know?
Hey,
All right.
what about Gary? We have to.
Yeah,
as
let's
a-
do
as a
Gary
collective,
collectively. Yeah.
We'll
we
do
have to-
Gary
We'll do Gary.
collectively.
In
We'll do-
honor.
We'll save him for last.
God rest his soul.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Damn, Gary.
All right, Beastly, let's start with Wilson. Where do we see Wilson in 10 years?
Please don't say prison.
In 10 years,
Yeah.
I see Wilson running an AA seminar in 10 years.
Like
Talking-
a motivational speaker kind of thing?
Yeah, he's going to say, I'm Wilson. I used to be a pothead, and now I'm going to tell you why pot is the worst thing on earth.
Nah, man, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Big
I can
change.
definitely see him being a motivational speaker, but I mean, pot isn't the kind of thing that you go to AA for. You know? It's
Hey,
like-
man, who knows how the world's going to be in 10 years?
Like,
Sure.
Shit.
Now, if I was into heavier stuff like cocaine or meth, maybe.
yeah, I
you know,
can
but-
see, but yeah, like, that's not a pot thing. But I can definitely see him being a motivational speaker.
Well,
Maybe.
what about
Okay, how about
public
this? How about
speaker?
this, Beasley? Wilson he's climbed the top of the glass world, and now he is teaching other people how to do it. Right?
Is pot legal in his state or not?
Pot's gonna be legal in every state.
We're working on it, man.
He's gonna forget every time he's supposed to be teaching people.
Oh, man.
Sitting on the party bus.
He makes a valid point. I would forget to wear clothes if it wasn't cold outside right now.
Sam is also helping with the scheduling.
Oh, well, he's fucked. Okay. You got work to do, Wilson. She's not gonna let you sleep.
I can see it. Where do I really see it though? Like, I mean, I definitely see. I've seen his art, and I know
he
that
does
it's-
some great work.
yeah, I know it's going to be successful. So, what I think my ignorance is like, what is the next step up? And my imagination takes me to he's either now teaching other people how to do it, or he's now got like this big blown out studio, and he's making mad fucking ducats, sending his shit all over the fucking country that now has legalized pot everywhere. So
Briar.
there's no legal issues anymore.
It only makes sense that he makes packages for people that include personalized dildos. Yeah, with a glass rose because people enjoy those kind of things.
Well, the
Filled with
glass
pot.
rose for the
Filled with
tweaker
pot.
in your family.
Filled with pot for the bud. The bud is actual pot. So the man gets the rose, he takes off the top, and it's all pot. And the woman gets the personalized dildo made with hand woven glass with her name, her initials, or maybe a Super Mario mushroom inside of it.
Weaving glass now.
Hand woven glass dildos.
It seems very sharp and very dangerous.
I am not on board.
There's a guy.
This is meant to be seen, not touched. If you know what I mean.
More of a visual piece than a functional piece. There's a guy in Briar. If you've seen that degenerate art, Okay. Remember the guy Bob Snodgrass, the old guy that had the studio in his bus?
Yep.
Remember that guy? I think that would be, if I had to guess where I'd see myself in the future, it would be a chunk.
The thing is, Wilson, is like, in all honesty, is like I see you in this position right when like you're coming into your own as an artist in a field that is about to blow the fuck up because marijuana is getting more and more legal.
It's true, Wilson.
Like, and it's like,
that's what you should secretly be doing now. I see all the stuff that you make. It's beautiful stuff.
I see Wilson flying first class to Guardian Con in 2028.
Did you know that I am actually getting on a plane for Guardian Con this year?
Are you really?
We talk about that? That I am going to
don't think we did.
Try to conquer the fear of flying again. I've done it once since my bad experience, maybe technically twice. But yeah, it's a huge step for me, man.
That is a big step. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person. Like, I'm really looking forward to that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Basically, you should make the trip down. It'd be really fun.
No, if it was a game I played more of, absolutely.
It's not even about the game. It's about the people.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of like night stuff going on.
Come on down to Atlanta and meet me. I got 5 kids that have been dying to meet you guys.
We could do that.
I was down until you said 5 kids, and I was like,
I've only driven through Atlanta, so I may have to take you up for that sometime.
Oh, you've driven through here?
That's only on the way down to Florida. It seems like that I've.
Yeah, well, it's a straight shot. You got to go 75. I literally live off of 75. You just get off of my exit and you come down 2 miles, and that's where my house is. So it'll probably take 20 minutes out of your day. You hear that, Briar?
All right.
Yeah. I
go down to Florida.
I don't drive.
Fuck. I got a big backyard, Briar.
Beastly gamer, my friend.
Yes, Beastly gamer. Where do we see
you guys should read the comments.
The kids have all grown up, and by the way, you know, in the future, you're wonderful parents. So all your kids have grown up to be wonderful people, very successful, very successful. You, however, gone a little off the deep end. You are now living in the woods with a squirrel-skinned hat, like the raccoon hat, and you can't help yourself. You're making pitfall traps and stuff.
You saw Black Davy Crockett.
Yeah, he's the homie Davy Crockett. Let's go. And yeah, you've taken this. That you are the new survivor, man. You are now.
Please tell me my wife went out into the woods with me just to be a wild woman and just let all the hair grow in crazy places.
She is the Jane to your Tarzan. You know what I mean? Like
Booney.
Yeah, you come in. You know, of course, you got to have the lady there with you. But you've taken it a step further now. You've taken it from trapping animals to living amongst them in the wild. You become one.
Pretty smelly out there.
This also works with your Last of Us obsession. You've escaped. You've escaped the fungal threat. You are now living off the land.
That's okay.
Using the skills.
It's wrong, but somehow it feels so right. Hand me that box of nails, baby. I'm gonna bitch bomb some squirrels.
Bitch bomb some squirrels. You should try that strategy.
I don't know. The nails might hit the house.
Have you gotten rid of your possum problem out of your garage?
They're gone.
They're gone. That's
it. The can of tuna that's been behind my shed for the last 5 days, and there's cats in the neighborhood, but they're fucking smart.
Words got
go in the trap.
They'll sit across the street, and they'll sit like today in the neighbor's yard, just watching me and Kate get out of the van. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I know what's in that cage.
Word's gotten out. There's been a cat that was sitting on the back fence that have been watching those.
There was 2 cats that got taken out of here and driven up the road. And Briar, they haven't returned. About 2 miles down the road, Briar said they'd be back. They must have ran into a roadblock. They're not here. Nice. And I'm sure that their friends have taken notice.
Did you kill them?
No.
You didn't?
Did you eat them?
No.
Never have I ever.
Never have I ever eaten possum.
No, he's going to say cat. No, I wouldn't hurt any cats. I got 3 cats here, man. I know they're just trying to survive, but you know, when you have a lot of cats in your neighborhood and they just and you have neighbors that just really have no respect for anyone else who feed them constantly, they piss and shit in your yard. It smells like ammonia when you get home. And it's very, very frustrating. And then when you tell the neighbor, I'm going to call and have the Humane Society come by and get some, oh, they're not going to come. You're going to have to do something about them yourself. Yeah, bitch, you feeding them. So, yeah.
All right, Beasley, we got one more. Me and you got to decide the fate of this beautiful bearded bastard that is
10 years from now.
10 years from now. What do you think about
10 years from now, Briar
bitching about Destiny 3 on the internet.
Briar's he's on a book tour for his new book, Destiny, What Really Happened.
Yeah.
And he's going to explain what happened with Destiny 1, 2, and 3 and why the players dropped off.
Never since the book was written about the Watergate scandal has the lid ever been blown off the inside of a scandal that is similar to Destiny 2. No, Briar's beard will have ascended at that point into pure consciousness. Like it has.
Oh, you look at him, you see just shot like glitter.
It's going in and out of existence of different dimensions. It has ascended to, I would say, wizard-like status at this point. Like it's approaching Gandalf the Red, you know, because he's a red beard. So he'd be Briar the Red, would be his. He has fully ascended into the magical realm of the beardom.
Beardom.
And then after he releases his book, he kind of takes a step back and goes back to his roots of the whole park ranger thing and lives amongst nature as Briar the Red.
Me and Beasley could be next door neighbors.
You could. You guys
don't have any squirrels, Briar.
I mean, no, I'm good. You can have the squirrels.
Yeah, I could come park the bus too and come see you guys all the time.
I like it.
That'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic.
I don't think we're gonna get Gary to join our commune, though. I gotta tell you.
Because where's he gonna be? Where's Gary?
Gary in 10 years is definitely gonna be in jail.
Or his wife's gonna murder him.
Yeah.
Gary's son,
an axe murderer.
Guys, are you guys aware that Gary's been with us this whole episode? His fucking son's name is Leonardo.
That's adorable.
That's awesome.
Guys...
Why is he in jail, Briar? What infraction did he commit?
Cybercrime.
No, I'm just kidding. He's not in jail.
Yeah. I think Gary's gonna be like. Have you guys seen the new, not the new, but like what was it, like the Judge Dredd, not the original, but with the newer one?
Yeah.
What was that in 2000?
It's called Dredd, right?
Yeah, it's just called Dredd or whatever. Remember the guy that the chick, the mama, the gangster had in the office where his eyes were augmented to all the technology and he was really quick and she'd never let him sleep? That's gonna be Gary. I think Gary's gonna be one of the first people to offer himself to upload his like consciousness to become. He's going to be one of the first cyborgs, basically, because he's on that cutting edge of technology. So like all that hentai and animated pornographic material is now at access by thought. He doesn't need a cheesy third-party platform to get his pornography. No, he has become the cyborg.
Let me tell you what's going to happen to Gary.
Sounds very real.
In 10 years, Gary is going to be the CEO of a major financial institution. And he is going to use that position to fuck with people on the highest level.
Did you say he'd become the world's first multi-million successful troll?
Yeah, he'll be the troll / CEO. He'll literally have CEO / troll on the door. You know, engraved in the glass on the door, right? Because there's no stickers at Gary's financial institution. It's engraved glass doors, right? This is a high class joint he's running, and he's gonna run it well, and it's gonna make a lot of money. But he's going to enjoy fucking with people on a global level.
You're right, dude.
That sounds like it's so possible, too.
Like, he could have the capability of being like the world's biggest supervillain, but instead he just likes to fuck with people. He never takes it to that person. No, he takes it to a personal level, but never to a physical level of like putting you in any sort of physical harm. He's just a fucking
troll.
Bad evil troll.
He just enjoys fucking with people.
An evil genius troll.
Like there are thousands of people working for him, living happy lives. He's running a beautiful, like a very strong business. But on a global level, he is just fucking around with shit. And just like seeing, I wonder if anybody will notice if I lower the exchange rate
Yeah.
so that I can get NVIDIA graphics cards for $100 cheaper. Beastly Gamer needs a new CPU, so why don't we up the exchange rate, the US dollar, so that he can get that a little cheaper this month.
Although Sony Vitas have not gone into production for over 30 years, their stock is seemingly high. Seemingly high. Shit like that. I think you nailed it, man. That's perfect.
Yeah,
that is Gary's calling to troll the world, quite possibly the galaxy someday, if we ever make it that far.
Destroy N8RR says we would write the best Black Mirror episode. I agree. Maybe we just lived it.
I mean, that's it. That's
Gary
great.
Soros.
Well, what do you think, guys? It's a good place to end it. We're right on time here.
Yeah, we nailed it, right?
Awesome,
Perfect.
man.
That was the plan. Look, we're always on time and things work out better when we nudge out the distraction. Some people talk very slowly for some reason. Takes 5 times longer to say this shit. We can just say, man, get the fuck out of here. So we love you, Gary. All
Plus, he likes to use fancy words. I called it a compass. I told him to use his compass in PUBG one time, and then he turned around and called it a directional indicator. That's way too many syllables for a call.
He corrects me all the time, too. I told him, hey, look. I said, look, cuz, I got to check my motherfucking schedule, shouty. He said, you mean schedule? I said, oh. Yeah, Gary.
Well, I would, for anybody who listened or watched today, I would like to say you're welcome.
Save your money.
We have, by not having Gary Diaz on the podcast, we have saved you money. You did not get sold anything, nor were you tempted to purchase or upgrade any equipment.
Absolutely.
And you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
This is a completely free podcast.
Ooh, the frames.
And on that, we'll see you next week.
Feel free to use those savings and sub to Briar Rabbit. Twitch.tv.
Absolutely.